Alright, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to talk about Chien-Pao, which is definitely one of the most biggest sources of frustration for many Battle Stadium singles players. You know, it often results in a lot of random match outcomes, and it generally, for me, it's like one of the biggest obstacles I've ever seen when it comes to building a team for the format. It's a Chien-Pao, it's a very fast Pokemon in general, 135 speed, and it hits with the base 120 attack. 120 attack might not seem like very much, especially in Generation 9, where Pokemon are power capped beyond belief, but this attack is actually boosted by the fact that its ability lowers the opponent's defense by 25%. So if you take this into account, its base attack stat is effectively 176. Absolutely ridiculous, and I haven't even talked about its move options. When it comes to moves, Chien-Pao has a lot of threatening options, and its Ice and Dark typing is difficult to deal with defensively, but not impossible by any means. But the main move that Chien-Pao usually runs is Icicle Crash, which has an 85 base power. It's an 85 base power attack, 90 accuracy, and a 30% chance to flinch. So, that 30% chance to flinch is the source of many people's frustrations about playing the game. And, rightfully so. It's just, that's a very high number for a secondary effect like a flinch. As a Chien-Pao player, you get to spam this move against most Pokemon because of how good ice moves are offensively. And the reason why it is so frustrating is that Chien-Pao is extremely fast, so it's going to automatically put that risk on the opponent, and all it's risking is a 10% chance of missing the Icicle Crash, which, doesn't really happen that often. A lot of matches can simply end by Chien-Pao just getting a flinch. One flinch is all it takes because, Chien-Pao can just two-hit most things neutrally. So when you consider that, that's just all it needs. But Chien-Pao gets other great move options. Crunch, very great dark stab move. Can even get defense drops in the opponent, and this just adds to the frustration because secondary effects really just go in its favor a lot of the time. Like dropping defense is huge because you can just get that and then you win because it's already hard to take its hits. Sacred Sword is a really good coverage option against like Dark and Steel types and Ice types as well. And it even gets access to its own priority moves while being this fast. Ice Shard, Sucker Punch, those are the two priority moves it gets. Absolutely ridiculous because, yeah, like I said, it's already really fast, and it just makes it more difficult for the opponent to get rid of it effectively before it gets too much damage off. Chien-Pao might just get a kill, and then can just get a bunch of priority damage on the second Pokemon with that 176 attack. Due to these options, Chien-Pao is commonly known as the best Sash user in the format due to two reasons. The first reason, like I said, it gets those priority options, so it's able to use it effectively, and it has a high ability to coerce the opponent to use Terra. It has a high chance to force Terra, so it can do that while being safe behind a sash, so it's able to get multiple moves off even if the opponent Terra'd, which is really scary to deal with. But yeah, due to all these tools, Chien-Pao can effectively break down many opposing Pokemon no matter what they are, thanks to its high damage, high speed, and decent bulk, because with decent bulk, like, it's 80 HP, 80 defense, 65 special defense. That's pretty average, especially in Generation 9. So it's not going to get immediately destroyed by something like an Extreme Speed, for example. And if the opponent has a Pokemon that Chien-Pao cannot get through, it has the option to run Sheer Cold as well. Sheer Cold is a one-hit KO move that hits 30% of the time, so you might think that it's an unoptimal option due to its low accuracy, but against certain Pokemon like Toxapex, you can throw out multiple Sheer Colds and, one might just eventually hit. And even, if the first one hits, you essentially just try to broke through a Pokemon for free, and since most Sheer Cold Pals use the Focus Sash, it's probably going to get another kill too, which is definitely pretty frustrating. In Battle Stadium singles, there are a lot of team types to deal with, and it seems like Chien-Pao is always able to be used against any team type, which means you need to consider how to deal with it while building your own team. The problem is that Chien-Pao often uses the luck factor to deal with the opponent's countermeasures, you know? It can either flinch the opponent or just outright remove it with sheer cold, regardless of what the countermeasure is, and this is why a lot of players tend to get frustrated. You know, because of this, I came to the conclusion that some batch outcomes are just going to be out of your control when you're facing this Pokemon. I like to call it the 30% rule. A lot of players are just coping way too hard because when they lose to Chien-Pao or other uncontrollable factors inside the game, they take it out of themselves instead of coming to peace with the fact that some matches are just going to be out of your control. You know, especially in the current metagame where Chien-Pao for some reason is running rampant in the top of Master Ball tier. You know, I keep seeing it over and over and over again, you know, on X or Twitter. People getting to rank 1 or achieving a very high ranking, you know, by using Chien-Pao. But even then, it's like everywhere in any tier, you know, it's gonna be, you're just gonna have to deal with it and its variants. Or in some cases, I've seen people hide the fact that they're using Chien-Pao. You know, I've actually been in a situation where I lost to someone's Chien-Pao, and then when they put their team on Twitter, the POW didn't have Chien-Cold. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of like evil stuff people do when it comes to that, but Chien-Pao is just a problem for multiple reasons that, you know, all these reasons that I just described. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this talk, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.